do record all the sessions. That's so we can put them online and you can watch them later, and people who couldn't join in with this session can watch it. This was when we were putting the program together for this conference, this was the first session on the program. It's taken me a year really to get Eva to come online and do this. One of the reasons for that is that she decided to go away and have a baby in the meantime. But I first saw this talk face to face in the conference at International House Milan. So Eva is coming to you from Milan today. And when I saw this, I thought, oh, this is a great, I mean, not only was it a great workshop, which was on an area that we don't often look at teaching with origami, but being the techno person, I really like the idea of using an online classroom, using digital technology to look at something so fundamental and so kind of basic skill as origami. So here we go. Eva, over to you. Good luck. Enjoy Origami Stories.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sean. Well, I'm quite the opposite. I'm not a techno person, so I'm just praying that everything goes all right. So please pray with me, and let's start. People say that my face is sometimes like a piece of paper, that you can read everything in it and anything can be written in it. And if you can't read, then I make sure everybody knows what I think and how I feel. I simply tell them. And this seems to be my problem. People say that I just talk too much. A lot of people have tried to keep me quiet, but I always found ways to make myself heard. So my family decided that the best thing would be to get rid of me, and they decided that the best thing would be just to encourage me to move to a different country. So I flew away and I landed in Italy. I had my first Italian ice cream and I tasted my first genuine Italian pizza, and I decided to stay, hoping that one day I meet an Italian man and have a beautiful half Czech, half Italian baby with him. Unfortunately, this didn't happen. Well, fortunately, this didn't happen. I met an Englishman instead, and he didn't seem to mind my talking. Well, he didn't seem to mind my talking until there was the first important football match on TV. Then he decided that something needed to be done about it. So he bought a book on origami. He gave it to me. He handed me a piece of paper and he said, "Here you are. Here's a book and some paper, and make something beautiful with it." Like, for example, a flower, or a bird. And I promise that I'll help you to look for opportunities where you can speak about your hobbies, about origami, and there will be enough people willing to listen to you. So this is how he got rid of me and got rid of my talking, because I need to get energy for these talks and for talking about origami. And thank you for being here, and thank you for being willing to listen to me yourself. So let's start. I think that our lives are full of stories. Stories are part of everybody's life. Stories are part of everybody's culture. And as language teachers, we can see another special value in stories, because we can use stories in our lessons. We like to use stories in our lessons because children are used to them and they provide memorable and natural context, They develop a lot of skills, both communicative skills and extra-linguistic skills. They develop imagination and creativity. They're part of exam, and they're enjoyable, or they should be enjoyable. And to make them enjoyable, we use different visual support, usually flashcards or picture books. And today I would like to offer an alternative to flashcards and picture books. I would like to offer origami as kind of visual support. Why origami? Because origami is different. It brings variety and color. It helps weaker students to excel in your English lessons. It caters for different learning styles, and it's also cheap and quite teacher friendly when it comes to tidying up the classroom afterwards. And we're going to have a look at origami from 3 different aspects. Origami as a support for the teacher, origami as a support for the student while the student is working with the story, and also as a source of characters that can take part in your stories. There's going to be some folding. If you want to fold along with me, you need your paper ready, but if you don't, never mind, because the slides will be available online, so you can fold later. Also, it's quite difficult for me to see how well you're folding. So if you get lost, just again, don't worry, and you can do all the folds later on with the help of slides, which will be online. So let's get started. There are a lot of origami characters that you can use in your stories. There are traditional ones, but there are also a lot of puppets which can be which can bring your stories alive. So, for example, I've got one puppet here. What's this? Well, it's an origami dog, and I think that you can see that it looks pretty easy. So this is the first origami that we're going to try together. You need a square piece of paper like this, and let's fold. First of all, fold diagonally in half so that you get a triangle like this. Then fold in half again. So now you have a smaller triangle. Crease the line and open. And when you open it, it's got 3 points. These 2 points are ears. This is the chin. So first of all, fold the ears down near the center line. And now fold just the upper layer of the chin up this way or this way, it doesn't matter. And you have an origami dog. Okay. And now, so this is a dog. And if I just change a little bit the position of the ears, what's this? A cat. And you can see that it didn't take much to make this cat. And again, with a small change, what's this? Okay, and now this is a mouse. So just with a simple change of the position of the ears, My slides don't seem to be working. I think I got stuck a little bit.
Be on the what should be on the screen?
Okay, so here we have the dog, the cat.
Hi, Eva, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I seem to have got stuck.
Okay, what slide do you want on
Can
the
you,
screen?
I've got the slide with the cat. Now I'm far. I can't see. Yeah. Okay, these are the slides I need actually now.
So the mouse is on the screen.
Yeah, the mouse is on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and it seems to be moving all right now. So this is the mouse again, and with this slight variation of the ear shape, you can make a lot of animals as well. And if you can't find, for example, online what you want to do, a pen or crayons will help you to create almost anything you need. For example, I like to bring my family to lessons, but it's not possible because they live too far. So this is what I made to be able to bring my family into the lesson. So please meet my sister. Okay, this is not really my sister. That's wrong slide. My sister is here. So my sister, my brother, my father, my mother. My mother got lost, and also I made my boss to scare some naughty students in the lessons. Now, do you think that these people enjoy having their faces turned into origami puppets? Well, not really. And if they could have their revenge would look like this. So this is supposed to be me. And why me with the similarity? Because we talk too much. And as language teachers, we know that anything that our students can give their voices to provides a lot of learning opportunities. So, and a lot of opportunities for practice. So that's what we're going to do now. It's quite easy to make. Just don't start folding. We will fold all together. Just to show you, it's very similar to the original, to the boat that we all used to make when we were kids. And so we're going to go through a stage of an origami head, and then boat, and then we will have the snapper, just to give you an overview. And now you will need a piece of paper which is a rectangle. I've got an A5 rectangle. And first of all, fold the rectangle in half along the longer side, like this. Now fold it in half in the other direction, like this. Now fold the two corners to meet the center line, like this. And now put this part up and repeat on the other side. So now we have a head. And now put your fingers in the middle of the head on each side and pull them apart, Okay, and you get a square. Just play a little bit with this part there at the bottom, and you have this. You now should have a small square like this. So on one side, fold it up and repeat on the other side. So now you have a triangle. And again, put your fingers in the middle of this triangle and pull them apart, and you get another square. And now the part which opens should be down, and up you can notice that you have three little parts. So put your fingers on the two moving parts and pull it apart again. So now you've got a boat, and if you open the boat, you can see that there's this triangle inside. So just push it to one side and put your fingers on the top of on the two corners and bring the two halves close to each other, and you have your talking puppet. Did you manage? Well, again, maybe if it was too fast, you will be able to find it online later. It's really easy, so please, if it's too fast, try to have a look at it later, and with the next folds, I'll try to go more slowly. Well, somebody is asking after just the last step after the boat. So you have the boat, open the boat, there's like a triangle inside, so move the triangle to the side and place your fingers on the two corners, and then just squash it together. Is it better now? Oh, I hope it is. Again, I'll be referring you to the slides later. I like using this talking toy for now. And again, I think I got stuck. I like using this toy for telling stories. So, for example, children can act out the voices while we're working on a story. But I also like to use it during question time with children, that they just interview each other using this talking mouth, and they quite enjoy it because it's very tactile and it gives their hands something to do while talking, so they don't fight together, for example, or other naughty things. And a nice thing about it is that after the lesson, you can put it back into the boat stage and put it into the register or portfolio. It doesn't take any space, and you can use it in your next lesson again. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to put it away, and we're going to move to another part, another kind of story. If you have a look at this, what story is this? Well, it's Cinderella, but some of you might find it a little bit strange because you can't see any pumpkin, but you can see instead some strange hazelnuts, which probably don't figure in your version of the story. And you're right, because this is a Czech version of the story, which I think is slightly more interesting than the usual version. So I'm going to tell you about the Czech version of Cinderella. So can you, well, it's a little bit difficult to manipulate this. Can you see my picture? Well, I hope so. So in my version and in your version, Cinderella is a girl who lives with her two ugly stepsisters, and while the stepsisters are only interested in fun and in clothes, Cinderella has to do all the tidying up. I guess this is the same. One day, their father goes to the town to do some shopping and asks the sisters and Cinderella what they want him to bring. The sisters ask for a lot of clothes and jewelry, and Cinderella doesn't want anything. And then when he insists, she says, "Just bring me something that falls on your nose." And the father comes back, sisters get what they want, and he gives Cinderella 3 hazelnuts, because that was what fell on his nose while he was traveling through this through a forest. And then, in the same way as in your version, there's a ball on Saturday. The sisters want to go to the ball, and when Cinderella asks if she can join them, they say, "Well, you don't have anything to wear, and anyway, there's a lot to do at home." So the sisters leave, and Cinderella stays at home on her own, and she starts tidying up. And as she's tidying up, bends, and one of the hazelnuts falls and cracks open. And in the hazelnut, when she looks carefully, there's a beautiful dress. She puts it on and she goes to the ball. When she's there, nobody can recognize her, not even her sisters, and the prince only wants to dance with her. This is the same in your version as well. At midnight, she needs to go back home so that everything is all in order when the sisters come. Then the following week, the same thing happens. The ball, Cinderella has to stay at home. But this time she cracks her second hazelnut on purpose, and there's an even more beautiful dress to put on. She goes to the ball. The prince only wants to dance with her. Nobody can recognize her, and so on and so on. And at midnight, she needs to disappear. And at home, she puts on her ugly clothes as if nothing has happened. But this is the same in your version as well. She leaves a silver slipper behind her, and this is actually what helps the prince to find her, and he can recognize her even in her ugly dress. He proposes to her, and here comes the time for the last hazelnut. She cracks the last hazelnut, and there's a beautiful wedding dress. So the prince and Cinderella get married. They move to his castle, and they live happily ever after. Well, I hope you like the Czech version of Cinderella as well. It just makes it a little bit different and a little bit more surprising for the students. And I call the origami that I use a magic square, because each square has got well, a square is divided into 4 squares, and each square has got 3 different positions. So you can turn over the squares, and you can hide what you want to be hidden, and you can create an element of surprise for your students. So this is what we're going to play with now a little bit. And I know that you might be, Cinderella is quite a complicated story, and you might be quite intimidated by drawing. But I would like to tell you that actually you can use it for much easier things and for much easier stories. Like I used it for the Enormous Turnip, which is quite easy to draw, or you can use it for things like a description of a journey to practice prepositions or landscape vocabulary, or you can also use it to describe daily routines where you just draw one picture into each square. And it can be also used to draw, to describe faces, so like this. And I think that now you can see how many opportunities and how many different uses this kind of origami can have for your students, especially for young learners, but also probably for adults. So this is what we're going to do together. I'll try to go a little bit more slowly than before. Hopefully we manage. So take another square piece of paper, okay, and I'm working with origami paper, which has got a white side and a colorful side. If you have a usual white paper, just maybe put a cross in the middle of one side, which for you would be the colorful side, just to make it easier for you to follow. Okay, so to start, let's fold. We're looking at the white side, and let's fold the white side in half, like this, and open again. Now let's fold it in half in the other direction, like this, and open again. Now fold it diagonally, like this, and open, and fold it diagonally in the other direction, like this, and open. Now there are 4 corners, so let's fold the corners to touch the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you following? Am I a little bit slower than before? Oh, I hope so. So now let's open it all again. There's a lot of opening and closing in this, and it might seem a little bit frustrating sometimes. Now, turn the paper over. So now you're looking at the colorful side, or you're looking at your cross in the middle, and fold the paper so that this part touches the line in the middle, like this, and repeat, like this, and open again, and do the same for the other direction. So first fold, touch the line in the middle, and then the other side. And you have this, and guess what now? Just open again. Now, I hope it's still all right. This step might be a little bit more difficult. I would like you to fold, well, you're looking at the colorful side or at your cross, and bring the center of this line to the center of the paper, like this. And now do the same for another side. And repeat for another side. And repeat for another side. So now you have a square with what I call four ears. So now I would like you to squash all 4 ears like this. Just bring them in the middle. Are you following? Okay, and okay, and now you should have this magic square. I'm just waiting to see if anyone wants to follow any step. Okay, so let's just continue. We're going to try to draw on it so that you can understand how the drawing for this works. To make it easier, I would like you to think about the square. It's divided into 4 parts. This is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And draw a circle, which will be the face all across 4 parts, like this. In part number 1, draw eyes. So just simple eyes, like this. For number 3 and 4, draw ears. 1 and 2, like this. And for number 2, draw a mouth, like this. Okay? And now turn over number 1. Okay. Just finish the circle to finish the face, and draw 1 big eye in number 1. Okay. And now turn number 2. So first of all, again, finish the circle for the face, like this, and draw an open mouth, like this. Now you can turn over number 4 again, finish the circle and draw, for example, big ears, like this. Okay. Can you see how it works now? We don't need to finish everything. I think that if you understand how it works, you can just use your imagination and finish the last part with your students. This is actually what I often do in the lessons. I do a picture dictation for the first phase, then I start the second phase, and then they finish it off with the neighbor themselves, and it seems to work very, very well. So this is something that you can use as picture dictation, but you can also prepare the picture in advance, like I did with the Cinderella story, and then you just simply make copies for your students, and your students just get to fold them to in the lesson and use it to work with the story. And we're now going to move to the last part of my session, which is called Storygami. I think that you can already see two different words in this word storygami, story and origami. And it's a type of origami where actually every fold in origami reflects an event of the story. So probably you can now understand that my initial story was a kind of storygami, and now I'm going to give you a different storygami. So just don't worry, you don't need to fold now, just look and enjoy. So he lived on hill, and the hill was covered in snow. He wore a dark coat and held his head really low. One day he rolled over on his tummy and kicked off snow with his feet. He pressed his wings together and raised his head, saying, "Hello, I'm Penguin Pete." So Penguin Pete is a kind of origami, of storygami as well, and another folding that we're going to do together. So let's do it together and try to repeat the instructions together with me. Okay, so Pete lived on the hill, and the hill was covered with snow. He wore a dark coat. I guess, well, again, if you have just white paper, in your case, it's not a dark coat, but a white coat, but you can then color the coat as well. So he wore a dark coat and held his head really low. Are you following? Well, I hope so. One day he rolled over on his tummy. So now we're looking just at the black side or dark side, and he kicked off snow with his feet. He pressed his wings together like this and raised his head and said, "Hello, I'm Penguin Pete." Do you all have your penguins? And if you were my students, I would probably ask you to make a friend for Pete, like for example, Penguin Pet, and maybe another one, and in the following lesson, another penguin, and ideally, after a couple of repetitions, the students will be able to make the penguin and remember the story as well. Do you want me to repeat? Well, it doesn't. No, it doesn't matter if the beak is broken. I say beak, but well, I say head, but sometimes if it's with older children, you can use beak as well, just to use more difficult vocabulary. That's up to you. So okay, so I'll move on now, unless you want me to repeat anything. Well, probably not. Just all these faults. Somebody's saying here that he wasn't perfect square to start with. It doesn't really matter all the faults that we have done together. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, and also all the folds can allow for some flexibility, that you can fold it here, but if you fold it a centimeter further, nothing really happens, and it gives every model that you fold a little bit of originality anyway. So that's why it's quite easy to use with with students as well, who are not always very precise. So let's move a little bit. I just want to say that I found this origami story on a blog, Origami with Rachel Katz, and she has on her blog more storygami. So if you're interested, just go to this site, and I'm sure you can find something something you would find interesting as well. And to finish today's session, I've got last origami story, which just reflects how flexible origami is, and how in how many different uses you can actually use origami. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to fold this. So just look and enjoy again. And this is just the site this story comes from. So in a country far, far away lived a rich man, and he was very rich, but the times were really hard. So he had to start selling off his land piece by piece, just like this. But unfortunately, it still wasn't enough. So he had to start selling parts of his house as well, piece by piece, just like this. But it still wasn't enough. So he had to sell his table and his bed and all his clothes except for what he was wearing, and all his shoes except the pair that he had on his feet. And with the money he had, he bought a ticket. It wasn't a ticket to go to the cinema. It was a ticket to board on a transatlantic ship that took him to America. But when he arrived in America, it was winter there, and he was very cold. And you remember, he didn't really have any clothes. So he decided to go to a clothes shop, and he decided to steal a pair of trousers. But he was still very cold, so he decided to go back to the shop and steal a sweater. But as he was stealing the sweater, police car came, and they arrested him, and they took him to the police station, where they all sat at a big table, and they interrogated him, and finally they found him guilty of stealing the trousers and stealing the sweater as well, and they sentenced him to work on the mill. But the work on the mill was very hard, and our gentleman didn't like it because he wasn't used to hard work. So we can't be surprised that when he saw a boat on the river, he decided to take advantage of it. He jumped into the boat, and then he sailed down the stream in this boat. And as he was sailing, he saw a strange object in front of him, and the object was 4 meters away, 3 meters away, 2 meters away, and when it was 1 meter away, he reached for it, and he took out of the water a wallet, and the wallet had 2 big pockets. So he opened the first pocket, and it was full of money. He started counting the money. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Wow, that was a lot of money. And that wasn't the end of it, because the other pocket was also full of money. He opened the pocket and started counting. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Oh, I must have made a mistake here. Okay, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 6 million in total. He had never seen so much money in his life. So he just continued sailing his boat. He stopped his boat in a spot that he found beautiful. He bought the land. He bought a big house on that land, and he bought also a lot of shoes and a lot of clothes, so that he would never ever be cold again. And I suppose he lived happily ever after. And if you liked my story, please put some coins into my little box. Okay, well, I think that this is an advantage of online conferences, because you can't obviously put money into my box, and I'm not going to give you the number of my account. So let's just leave it like this. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope you you will try some of these ideas with your students, and have fun folding. And I hope you will have discovered a new hobby for yourself as well. So thanks for listening, and have fun folding.
Yay, well done, Eva. Thank you. I think everybody enjoyed that. It was so great to finally get it online. The idea of a paper in the online classroom is brilliant, and everybody really enjoyed it. So thanks a lot for doing that. I know that it was quite hard work getting you here for all the technological issues and everything. So thanks. And I look forward to seeing everybody's penguins. I think what we should do is get people to take the pictures of penguins and then email them to us, and we'll put them on the IH Facebook page. We'll have a who made the best penguin or monster thing. So glad if there are questions for Eva, she'll hang around, as you can in the box. We will obviously get the recording online as soon as we can to you. Thanks so much, Eva. Really appreciate you coming.
Thank you. I'm happy the technology didn't collapse this time, and it went reasonably well. Though I wasn't really. It's really difficult to